Do you know what's changing in the new 2025 RTO standards? Not sure how to implement the changes? Still struggling with compliance?
Don't worry, Ben is here to help. With 1,025 plus RTOs supported, he's here to make compliance easier for you. Join Mahi for today's session. Your journey to 2025 compliance starts now.
Do you know what's changing in the new 2025 RTO standards? Not sure how to implement the changes? Still struggling with compliance?
Don't worry, Ben is here to help. With 1,025 plus RTOs supported, he's here to make compliance easier for you. Join Mahi for today's session. Your journey to 2025 compliance starts now.
Do you know?
Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Maybe we'll wait for a few more seconds to let everyone join. What's happening? Who's here so far? Oh, I can see many familiar faces. Hello, hello. Hi, Tiffany. How are you? Hi, Sam. Hi, Erwin. Okay. Seems like pretty much. Hi, Paula. Good morning to all of you guys, and very warm welcome on today's webinar. I am Mahi, your host for this session, and I'm so glad that you all could join us today. On behalf of our entire team, I wanted to sincerely thank you to each and every one of you who has joined us in the last session, and truly appreciate and big thanks to all of you for coming back and joining us again today. Your dedication to learning is really inspiring, and thank you so much once again to all of you for joining us. And you know, for this session, leading by Mr. Ben Tucker, a champion of compliance in vet sector with over 15 years of experience in training, compliance, resource development. And today he's going to give us more guideline, a further guideline regarding the RTO standards 2025 to help you stay ahead for these changes and make you feel more confident. Also, joining us today, a few of our other brilliant member of team Vet Resources, and you'll be hearing from them at the later in the session. And there are so many things coming up at the end, including the Q&A session. Along with you'll hear more from our team members. So I would say stay tuned till the end. And before we start, few reminders. Your microphone will be muted throughout the session, and if you have any question, feel free to type in the Q&A section or the chat box, and we will try our best to cover all the Q&As, like all the questions at the end of the in the Q&A segment. And just in case if we miss out any of the question, we'll make sure those will be covered in the upcoming video. So stay tuned as well. And lastly, one small request to all of you guys, maybe turn on the camera. It really helps us to create a connecting and engaging space for all of us. So I would love to see your lovely faces. Thank you. Thank you, Sam, first of all, for turning on the camera. I can see your face. Oh. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, everyone. Whoever has turned on the camera, thank you, Arlene. I really appreciate. Thank you. Thanks, Yvette. Thanks, Roy. How are you? Thank you. Thank you all for turning on the cameras. It seems now I feel more connected to all of you guys. And before further ado, now I'm not going to waste your time. Straight away, I would hand it over to Mr. Ben Tucker, our today's speaker. Let's start, Ben. How are you?
Good. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mahi.
Thank you.
First of all, I just want to start with just want to say thank you, all of you. You guys are putting the effort to join it. You're spending the time. and you investing your time. So though the session is free, the time is also a currency. And because you're investing 1.5 hours, we also want to make sure that we give you absolute best that brings some value to you in your RTO, and then you can take something from here and you can start implementing tomorrow. So that's our goal. That's our team work towards it whole week. So just want to say thank you to all of you. And before I start, I just want to have a quick recap of what we discussed or what we covered in the last session. So we discussed about the standard 1.1, about the training. We make sure in your thesis, you allow the time for practice. Make sure you review those training and assessment strategy. If you don't allow time for practice, it just might create a problem. Make sure you review your session plan also around that. Your hour structure, review your information of work placement. So this will give you some practical idea what I need to do with it. Standard 1.2, industry consultation. How you identify correct industry representative? How you doing ongoing consultation from industry, employer, and community? 1.3 about pre-validation process and continuous improvement. We have given you a template that you can start doing a pre-validation. So any unit you're starting from 1st of July, that you need to start that process. 1.4 assessment, major point is plagiarism and AI detection. Make sure you cover up in your policy procedures that you actually cover that part, because that's what the auditor wants to see. 1.5, the validation, risk-based validation and how it leads to continuous improvement. 1.8 about the facilities, resources, and equipment. Make sure you have a sufficient resources, facilities, and equipment based on your student number, that including staff and all this part. The quality area 2 is a wet student support. The 2.1, we said we provide a clear and accurate student information, including the placement information, fees and charges, and use realistic images. Standard 2.2 is pre-enrollment information, that majorly about your LLND, pre-training review. Make sure you integrate in your system now. 2.3 about the support, provide clear structured access and respond in timely manner about the student support. 2.4 and 2.5 is diversity and well-being, understand the cultural need of the student, create a safe environment, and train the staff how to do that. 2.7 about feedback must be collected and review for continuous improvement. So that's just a quick recap of what we covered. If you really want to go back, because it's a human nature, we cannot retain everything. So sometimes it's good to recap and review this. Even the recording of webinar maybe in a 1.5 speed, so that give you some more idea. So let's start the today's session now. Just give me a thumbs up if you're able to see the screen. Okay, perfect. So I'm super excited to uncover this second session of the webinar. And today's agenda is we're going to cover up quality area 3 wet workforce, quality area 4 governance, so majorly about the CEO, director, managers, and who is managing those areas and what are the changes and requirements for it. So that's something we will unpack today. Also the compliance standard for RTO. So this kind of a regulatory requirement, how we meet the compliance requirement as well, and the credential policy. So how you're going to have the trainers and how you're going to meet all those credential related things. So let's get started. The quality area 3, wet workforce. So you will see the difference here that in SRTO 2015, the clause 1.13 to 1.15 must hold the TAE, vocational competency, industry currency. Here is standard 3.1 now, update a reflected credential policies. So now there's a separate set of document that we need to follow. And also we need to also make sure the right to work and evidence verification. What I mean is evidence verification is if I'm a trainer, if I'm giving you any document, for example, certificate, any other document, we need to have a dedicated process that how we verifying those certificates. Probably you already know that ASQA has canceled so many certificates in last 6 months. So you also need to check that those qualification is not belong to those RTO. If they belong to those RTO, you need to do further check and identify that they are able to deliver the course or not. And we need to retain those evidence. So all those things needs to be done now as part of a standard 3.1. Trainer induction and supervision, there was no explicitly outlined. However, in standard 3.3, under credential policy is guiding toward the induction program and define supervision of new or under supervised staff. So if you have a staff that do not have a TAE or anything, then you need to supervise them. And those are the condition aligned. We need to align those conditions as well. Third, industry currency and PD. Require industry currency and PD loosely monitored because they're not clearly defined. But however, in standard 3.2 and 3.3, it says require regular documented PD system and maintaining currency. So what does mean regular? Is anybody wants to give an answer what they consider what regular means? So we'll see if there anyone wants to type or give some suggestion to all of us. Okay, so 3 months, that's good. Kate, thank you. Monthly, Matt, thank you. Jody, thank you. Thank you for participating, because that way I also get idea what we think. That helped me to even customize this session, because then I will, based on this information, I can change that. Okay, this is important for people. Ongoing review. What RTO determine is interpretation of the standard. That's great. Raul, monthly, regular, constant. So many great information, guys. Each 5 years. Okay, nice. So because there is no definition of what regular means, so what we need to see is that a PD session, for example, let's say I'm doing for the staff or trainer. If the legislation change, I need to have a PD, because if I don't do it, because we can't define it's a monthly or quarterly or yearly. It also based on the situation as well. Let's say number one, legislation change. We need to have PD. We need to upgrade the staff. We need to upgrade the trainer. What if I am doing a construction trainer and there is a change in the industry of construction industry? We might need to say, okay, you might need to get some information or idea around that. What if there is you internally change your own system? Maybe now you have a paper-based system, but now you're doing LMS. And now you change the process and stuff. Maybe you need to do a PD as well. So the PD regular means can be defined by what internal change within the RTO and what external change as well from the regulatory body and the third party and the relevant industry as well. So those are the things we need to cover as part of the regular PD. Trainer file maintenance, expected to maintain evidence not tightly regulated. Now it says require structure, current documentation, including qualification, right to work, PD, supervision log if relevant, if there is under supervision. Other staff. So this is something is very different. It was not required, but now it includes all the staff impacting training outcome. Must define role, conduct induction, and provide an ongoing professional development. So because this is something very new, so if your RTO has a staff of admin, student support officer, maybe an accounting person, or maybe IT person, any of those, you need to provide them the relevant PD related to that. And that's now it's a requirement. So, and we also need to retain those evidence. So if you're attending this session, you're going to get this PD certificate that you can also retain that as an evidence as well. But now we need to do it for all the staff. Okay. Third-party staff oversight require written agreement, but the staff oversight was vague. Include now in standard 3.3, include staff of third party under monitoring, supervision, and credential verification. So now it's a little bit tighter in terms of how we managing third party, and the RTO is responsible for all the third party and how they market, how they promote, what they communicate, and all those areas now needs to manage much more rigorously. Recruitment practice, not detailed, must validate identity, credential, right to work, suitability for role across all the staff. Okay. Practical step. What are the practical steps that comply with 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3? Is verify trainer credential. Ensure trainer assessment meet credential policy and have current vocation competency and currency. So, and we have seen this many times that RTO provide the certificate or currency, but the trainer provide that, but RTO do not call or do anything to verify those. And when they ask in audit, okay, how you verified, what evidence you have, then RTO do not retain any of those evidence. So make sure you verify those credentials. Can we have some idea how you guys currently verifying the credential of the trainer or any other things? Is there any idea how we currently doing it? That give us some idea. Let's say USI transcript review, amazing. Kim, get trainer to update. Oh, it's going so fast. Okay, great. Check the US, check right, ring and check PD plan. Check with the issuing RTO or USI transcript. Great. Thank you so much, guys. I look at TGA, research, RTO, and USI. Wow, that's great. Certified copy contract the provider. Yes, so we got a really great response, guys. And I think these are the things we need to do. So number one way you can do the USI transcript. So if I have a USI transcript, it's much more legal document because it's been issued by a relevant body. So that's number one. Second, because the USI not always updated, because if they have done in last 12 months or within 12 months of time, yes, we can email the RTO or we can call the RTO and get the verification done. Now there are a lot of RTOs now put is a QR code on their certificate. So you can also, verify that at that time. So those are the things. Plus, that's for the certificate. If they provide any currency document, then I also need to call the employer or email the employer to verify. So all those evidence that we need to keep to show in the audit that we are actually following the standard 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 requirement. Maintain staff file, keep comprehensive updated record. So as again, I said, they're retaining the record. And that's where like most of the RTO actually do all those things, but then they lack in recording and retaining all those documents. So make sure that you have the correct process and the right person allocated to actually who can record all those evidence correctly. And like I said, do not try to keep all those evidence in the emails or anyone, because then when the staff change, all the information goes, and at the time of audit, it's very hard to find in the email. Implement supervision. So if the trainer under supervision, make sure there is a clear plan and there is a qualified supervisor as well, especially if there is under supervision. Induct all staff. Conduct formal induction for all role, trainer, compliance, admin, HR, and student support. Why this induction gonna be very useful? Yes, I know everyone busy and we running RTO, sometimes we don't have a time. Same happens to me. Sometimes I try to skip induction. But what's the important part is that when we hire a staff or when we hire a new person, if we don't tell them what we do, how we do, when we do, and what is required, then they're gonna have a hard time to find actually what to do. And then they try their best, but because there's no information, they will just do talking to someone, asking someone, and just do best of their ability. But they will not able to follow the formal structure. And therefore, that if we spend a bit of time in initial induction, it gives a more reward later on. And like I said, I'm also a victim of this. I sometimes try to skip it. So I just want to confess that I'm not perfect in this one. Track PD activities, provide regular professional development, all the relevant staff, and retain the evidence. So here is not only the trainer, all the other staff also need to retain that whatever the PD. Even when you do in-house professional development, you can also keep those. Even you can do even internal PD certificate to the staff, and then you can keep all those log. That also can be considered toward professional development. Keep record for audit, assess, maintain secure, accessible record for all of those things, because ultimately, if ASQA auditor doesn't see those documents and evidence, they will make the judgment based on the evidence. They will not make the judgment based on our intention or any of those things, because if they don't see any evidence, then they might consider it's not been done. Credential policy. So we'll discuss the key changes from SRTO's 2015. Require upgrade with LLN and assessment. So especially with TAE 40110, we need to have those TAE, LLN, those 2 units with SRTOs. Now it's remain valid without those additional units. So means if I have a TAE 40110, I can train now. Working under direction rules, minimal guidance. Now, if I am working towards working under direction or working towards, so if I start TAE, there's a clear direction that must be actively participating in that course and must be finished within 2 years. And it is very clear now in the credential policy. Supervisor responsibility, no specific obligation, must be qualified and receive support. Compliance control, we must track the PD, monitor performance, authenticate and store credential evidence. Known risk. So these are the known risks being identified by ASQA as well. So that we want to cover up. So at least RTO get an idea that what are the areas that they need to consider. Failing to authenticate and retain evidence. We discussed that in detail. We need to retain that evidence. Allowing staff working under direction to make assessment judgment. So if they are under direction, they can't make the judgment. Not monitoring or supporting staff to complete qualification within 2 years. So that's under this new guidance. Using trainer or assessor without current industry skills or vocation competency. And this is, I can see in some areas that industry currency is a challenge. If the trainer working full time, then they need to show that how they are current in the industry. So that popped me up a question. How do you guys currently maintaining the trainer currency? What are the ways you can identify or manage the trainer currency? Is anyone wants to answer that? What currently are we doing? Because this is something, it's a lot of RTO get non-compliant. So would love to see if anyone wants to say how you verify. Go to industry meeting, great. In the annual audit of trainer. Conference in the field, they do the point system, send out notification, potential PD session. We have a policy. Okay, our trainers still work within the industry, great. I think that's a good point. We have An annual trainer, 2 days retreat. Great. Okay, so we got all the lots of different answers. I think we can get all the answer from the chat as well. Subscription, meeting, face-to-face. Great. So all those answers are right. So there is no one way of doing it. If the best and easy way, if trainer is working in the industry, because then I don't need to do anything extra. So if I work on part-time, voluntary, or after a contract base, if I'm working in industry, it's easy. Second, if I don't work in industry, then I need to visit the industry and collect what I visited and how it links to the unit of competency. So yes, they go to the industry, but what evidence are we retaining and how it links to the training and assessment they're delivering? So that's why we have developed this one of the form called industry visit form. I think maybe we'll send it after this as part of saying thank you. And then other thing is that they do relevant PDs based on the unit or competency they deliver. So there are many ways. As if they also can go to voluntary in the workplace to see what changes happen, how it happened, retain all the record. So there are many other ways we can maintain the currency. Not giving supervisor enough time or resource to proper oversight. This is under the supervision trainer. Engage industry expert without verifying their qualification and providing structured direction. So sometimes we engage the industry expert to sometimes deliver or things, but then we don't collect those evidence of qualification and why they're able to do it. Validation panel missing. So the validation panel doesn't have right evidence and assessor competency. Okay, so that leads to now quality area 4, governance. Let's start with a question. Why does SRTO's 2025 place greater emphasis on governance, including leadership, continuous improvement, and self-assurance compared to 2015? I would love to see what do you think about it? So let's see what is coming up. Come on, guys. Previously, dodgy provider. Yeah. Anyone else? It may assist in getting rid of the cowboys. Yes. It reinforces the one that management have to ensure the staffs are doing the right thing. Great. Quality lead from the top. Very clear. RTO need good leadership governance because the all provider have been shut down lately. Okay, experience and knowledge. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. I think a really amazing response. So yes, I think you all are right in a way that when they were evaluating that how good is 2015 standard, there is a panel that set it up. They were find that it is the 2015 standard is too more on compliance and ticking boxes and things, where it's not focusing on much more the leadership and self-assurance culture and things. Other things that they find out based on the experience of the audits and stuff, that the people who are a CEO and the leader of the organization does not have the relevant skill or knowledge about the standard, about the information and stuff. So that's what they identified in the lots of audits. So if the leader or a CEO does not know, they don't need to do everything, but they at least need to know what the basic standard or compliance or processes is. If they do not know any of those things, then how they will be able to lead? It's same like, are you giving me a car to drive, but I don't know, I never drive before. So what's going to happen? Disaster. And that's what they're seeing in the lots of audit. And that's why you guys saying the dodgy provider, this, that, all those part. Those people might doesn't have any knowledge and skills because they're not interested in learning those things. So that those are the things that been identified. And so now in SRTOs 2025 said they want a strong leadership. They want leader to understand what is the standards are. They want leader to be accountable for providing all the PDs information and making sure that they're doing the, organization is actually doing the right thing. And then also that leader also fit for person, understanding how the quality improvement work, and then also set the standard that how they're going to self-assure. And that's why it says self-assure, itself word says self and assure. How can I assure myself whatever am I doing? And which is a tricky part. So okay, then we'll discuss about how we can do the self-assurance. So those are the reason that now it's putting more emphasis on that governance part. Key changes that we'll discuss, fit and proper check, one-time check, ongoing monitoring of governing person. Leadership culture, it says leader must actively promote a culture of fairness, integrity, compliance, and suitable person to oversee the operation. Now you see who is the suitable person to seeing the operation, oversee the operation. So maybe let's have what do you guys think? What do you think is the suitable person according to that? What are in a simple way, it's say, who do you consider as a suitable leader? So maybe I'd love to know if you guys can put something. Let's wait for a few seconds. Lead by example. Someone who has a knowledge and expertise from relevant place. Someone we employ and have checked out. Okay, great. Anything else, guys? Okay, awesome. So the suitable person, yes, again, there's a great part. Is someone experienced leading a team, confident, integrity, honesty, supportive. It's about somebody put about the financial management as well. And there's some question as well, which we'll cover as well. Okay, great. So suitable person is overseeing the operation. So consider in a way that if I am responsible for overseeing the operation, what do you think I should know? I actually should know what is my responsibility first as a leader. The responsibility is I need to make sure I align with the standards and requirement. I set up the cultures, the processes and system so we are able to meet those requirements. But to meet the requirement, I first need to know what the requirement is. And if I don't know about it, am I be a suitable person? So even though you are a new CEO or you never worked as a CEO, but if you know what is required, if you know the basic part is the knowing first. If I don't know what the standards are saying, if I don't know the basic things of it, I will never able to oversee it. Because to oversee, you need to know first. I cannot oversee something if I don't know. That doesn't mean, like I said, you have to do everything. You need to oversee it. For example, we might do a quarterly audit and say, okay, let me see what's going on here. Let me see what's going on in marketing. Let me see what's going on in enrollment. Let me see how the trainer is marking the assessment. So that way you just overseeing this. Some of the function you might say, let me check the financial every month. Are we heading in the right direction or not? My job is to also provide the PDs and upgrade the staff and all those parts. Are we doing those professional development? So all those things, if you put it in, it becomes that you are overseeing all the operation and you become a suitable person. Now to meeting a fit and proper person requirement, again, that someone added the good point is if you have a bank corruption or if you have closed down the previous RTO or any something wrong happen according to it, it also raised the concern of that, are you a fit and proper person or not? So now you will see in the lots of audit, and we are already seeing it from last 6 to 12 months, is a lot of emphasis on leaders and CEO, because ASQA wants to know, or auditor wants to know what they know about it, what their knowledge and skill about it, and they're asking a lot of questions there. And when there is a CEO is not able to answer those some basic questions, then there is a concern that the person is not suitable. Okay, and you will see more of them. Okay, all the CEO, that doesn't mean if you are a CEO, you currently doesn't know the thing, that means you are in trouble. What it means that you now need to put some time to learn. You now need to put some energy to see what is the new thing. And you now say, how can I oversee all those operations? And like I said, it can be set up by a monthly or a quarterly audit as well. So if you put some time, energy, effort of learning and put some framework, it's not the hard part. Okay, data-driven governance. And now the governance decision must use student outcome data, feedback, and review. So again, as part of the review process, whatever the feedback we got, whatever the completion data we have, whatever the review will do, they all need to be considered in the governance decision. Define the roles and duty. Now, specific compliance duty must be clear to all the staff and third party. So that's why the segregation of duties and roles and responsibility needs to be done. Third party oversight now must also monitor individual third party properly. Staff communication, ongoing update on standards and regulatory changes required. So as I said that now we need to notify when there is a changes in standard or any regulatory changes with the ongoing update. So currently, if you haven't updated your staff, third party, or student about the new changes, you need to write it down in your to-do list. Make sure you send that update, because that's an obligation. So if you get only one thing like last time, make sure you do this. Send update to all the relevant stakeholders that this is the changes happen, what the broadly changes are. And if you're updating your student handbook or any of those things, make sure you mention in that as well. Okay, so that's kind of a tip. I think if you can implement it, that would be great. Okay, key compliance risk. Staff don't clearly understand their roles or reporting line. Use generic compliance system, they don't fit for the RTO structure. Delay in responding to identify compliance or integrity issue. Failing to properly oversee and manage third-party provider and staff. So those are the risks, and it also been identified by ASQA as well. So now the solution. Just create and distribute duty statement and org chart with the roles and responsibility clearly defined. So when you do this now, if you do this clearly defined role, means when you're doing a quality check on a monthly or quarterly basis, if that thing was not done, then I'll say, okay, guys, you are responsible for this, what happened here. But if there is no responsibility, then everyone said, it's not my job, it's not my job. So that's why it's the more clearer the roles are, it's become easier to manage and easier to find out that what is going wrong. And if I already know that this person doesn't know because that person is responsible, then it leads to a PD again, professional development, and improve that person, keeping the log of continuous improvement. Develop customized compliance tool, calendar, register form. So yes, you can use some compliance system from third party, but make sure it's aligned with your delivery and your structure of the RTO and your validation schedule and your internal audit structure. Implement a compliance issue log with clear escalation timeline and assign the responsibility. That doesn't mean you have to issue the log all the time. You might have a different process as well. But ultimately, you need to find out how can we best responding any compliance or integrity related issues. Set up third-party monitoring schedule, include individual level check. So maybe as part of the overseeing compliance, you said this month we will review the third-party stuff. 4.3, now risk management. So as part of governance, we also need to manage the risk. Risk is part of life, risk in every business, every person life. We cannot avoid the risk, but we need to learn how can we manage it. So there was before no formal requirement, risk was not a key focus, and structure compliance area now require formal documented system to identify and manage and review risk. So guys, that prompted me a question. How we can identify the risk? What do you think currently, or maybe currently, how are you finding out, is there any risk in the RTO or in the operation, training, assessment across the whole operation? What can we do here? Internal audit, right? Okay, audits, student feedback from meeting, feedback, incident, internal audit, monthly meeting. Yes, asking as a risk profile, internal checks, implementing a new process. Great, feedback from the industry expert. So you guys already know how to find a risk. Now you need to have a documented process there. So what documented risk means that when you find out any challenges, problem or thing, you need to have a risk profile. So is there a high risk, medium risk, low risk? And when you consider, you need to have a clear guideline, what consider high, what consider medium, what consider low. We need to do a risk analysis. That prompts me another question. What consider high risk in education? Staff leaving. Okay, that's one of the high risk. What else? What else? Not assessing correctly. Yes. Thank you, Christopher. Student not completing. High risk call on scope. Thank you, Tina. Lack of student attendance. D. Feedbacks. Right. Plagiarism. Okay. Placement. Duration. Not follow attendance and course progress. Yeah, these might be high. It's from the international college. Okay, so high risk. Anything related to the student outcome or student related matter, because that's put a great emphasis on. We need to put it into high risk as well. Then we need to see based on RTO operation, but that needs to be clear. So if RTO has a good risk management structure, what is high, what is medium, what is low? They clearly know this is a high risk matter. I need to act quickly because that's going to affect it. So now that's what the new standard 4.3 is expecting from us. We need to have some sort of a risk management process or system where because we already know how to identify the risk, but now we need to put that into the system. Is it a high, medium, low? If it's a high, what is now planned to resolve this? And what documentation or who's gonna do what resources we need. And we plan that, and that leads to a continuous improvement. Okay, so that's something we all need to do. Financial risk oversight. Governing person must monitor financial performance, cash flow, and viability. That's why you also see in the audits of stuff that is your RTO is not financially viable. Because when RTO doesn't have enough finance to fund their ongoing student or the trainers or any of those things, it becomes the question mark that RTO is not financially viable. And it is a governing person responsibility to make sure it's all the time financially viable. Conflict of interest. This is something new. Must have a document policy and active management or real or apparent conflict. Okay, so that give me one more prompting question. It's like I'm prompting like ChatGPT now. What do you consider a real or apparent conflict? Because we need to have documented processes to identify and manage the conflict. So according to you, what could be the conflict? Anyone wants to answer? Enrolling family friend into the course. Staff trainer management working on multiple similar company. Don't know. Okay, that's good. We'll do some example. A trainer working for you, but working for other RTO. Issuing staff calls from your RTO. Clashes between trainer and student. Okay, independent value. So great. So if I have a trainer and they also work with another RTO, and if it's a clear obligation, clear contract there, it's not a conflict of interest, because if I'm a trainer working 2 days here and 2 days other, I need to feed myself as well. So what actually the conflict become is, let's say I am the trainer and assessor, and I have a family member who is studying in my class, and I'm assessing that person. Do you think that considered as a conflict? Yes, no? So that we need to see, and that clearly need to document. Second example I would give is, let's say I am a trainer and I am also a lead or manager as well, where I need to check my own work of quality. So I am the trainer, I am assessing these people, and because I also need to do a quality check, and I'm also checking my own quality. It's become conflict. So those are the things that we need to be mindful to manage the conflict. Another conflict. So there could be a different range of example. Maybe we'll do one separate video just on conflict. Child safety and well-being, under 18, mandatory alignment with national principles of child safety organization. If you are doing under 18, use of risk tool. Risk tool must be contextualized, RTO size, delivery, and student needs. So we already discussed about the risk tool and risk strategies. How to achieve compliance. Set up a risk management system. As we discussed, we need to have risk management, monitor financial health, make sure all the cash flow budget, and making sure that you are always financially viable RTO. Manage conflict of interest. we discuss about the different conflicts, including third party. And that there could be third party related conflict also come in place. Protect student under 18, again national principle stuff which we discussed. Review and improve regularly. Use data, feedback, and external review. Update your risk strategies and ensure that you stay relevant. Whenever you identify the risk, you work towards it, you improve it, and that constant review process will work. Okay, continuous improvement. Standard 4.4. Mainly focus on emphasizing systematic ongoing approach, improvement across all areas. So that include training, assessment, third party, staff, trainer, across all those parts. Self-assurance and monitoring require documented self-assurance framework. Example, compliance calendar, or internal audit schedule, or you have RTO calendar, or anything else. That's why you need to say, what are the self-assurance framework you have? And also in the audit, sometime it asks that, how do you self-assure this? And then we need to have a clear idea. I said, okay, we quarterly audit this area. This is how we identify if there any issue identify. We worked on improvement. It also go to our risk management register and column compliance and continuous improvement. So that's how we do self-assurance. Data and feedback use multi-source data, student, staff, industry, third party, and then use for improvement. Post-implementation review now require follow-up monitoring after change or improvement are made. So once we identify that this needs to be improved, we also need to do monitoring. That is that whatever we wanted to achieve, is that achieved and is that applicable constantly or not? And that's why, with this continuous improvement, there one thing I learned that if we set it up a monthly or quarterly internal audit rather than annually, this covers a lot of area of your internal audit part, your self-assurance, your risk management, and also being compliant with other standards. So if you want to integrate a small time frame audit like monthly, you don't have to do all standards in one go. Maybe you can say, if you want to do monthly, you can say this month we'll do only marketing audit. The next month we'll do enrollment audit. The next month we will do training audit. Then we do assessment audit, and then we'll do validation. You could do this way, or you can do a quarterly where we say, okay, we do marketing and enrollment and maybe one trainer part doing together or something else. This will sort out lots of area that we discuss. And then you don't need to allocate 2, 3, 4 days for the whole audit. It just can be done within a day, and you get the output, feedback, improvement, and all the things are aligned. And when anyone see from an audit point of view, they will see that this organization is working toward. How to achieve compliance? Monitor regularly, create compliance assurance cycle that I just discussed. Collect stakeholder feedback, use survey, meeting, interview, get the input. Analyze and act on data, because I always tell the people that data always tell the story. And one of the example I give, when you review student completion data, and you will see this particular group has 80% of NYC. And then you'll say, oh, what happened here? Who is the trainer? And then you find out that maybe the problem is in the training. So the data always give you lots of information, and data always tells the story. If we review it and identify, it can help us to improve. Close the loop, document improvement action, monitor changes post-implementation, and see how it works. Engage with ASQA proactively. When there is a non-compliance identified, you plan to fix it and build the relationship of transparency. So when you do especially that CEO declaration, if something is genuinely non-compliant and if you work toward it, you can disclose with the plan. It's not gonna say that ASQA gonna come next day to you and do all this part. It's just the building of the system and process. Compliance Standard Division 1, information transparency, mainly about the marketing and guarantees. So I'm only discussing what is different, what is already same. I'm not covering that part because RTO code, this, that, all those part is already there. Financial support info, make sure we provide clear, accurate disclosure of all the fees, cost, payment plan. That needs to be clear. So your website or information needs to be clear. Third party representation, which service are delivered by the third party versus RTO needs to be clear. Marketing of superseded product, only market on scope and enrollment still allowed. License regulated outcome, can only claim license outcome if confirmed by the regulator. Use image and facilities. Here is something which we see in quite a few audits as well. Must accurately represent actual facility and resources. What has happened that, okay, I have, for example, a kitchen where I'm using it. And what I'm showing on my website is completely different. Or they are not any close to it. So that's what ASQA is saying, that we need to put a relevant information, a proper images. Because if you put the wrong images that give a incorrect information to the student, that also leads to non-compliance. Another thing that, okay, maybe that RTO is in 60 kilometers away from the CBD, and they put the CBD photo and say that it's located in the heart of CBD. That also not accurate information. So probably you need to check your website and see is there anything like this. Maybe consider to change it. Okay, misleading guarantee, cannot promise course completion, employment, and shortcut. Shortcut means the short duration. If it's not, if it's too short, then you need to be, can be asked by ASQA that, okay, why this is, and must also meet any consumer law or any claim that we do. Key compliance risk, incomplete, accurate course information, failing to include the training product code, title, current course status, expire or deleted, misleading representation. Again, the image part, inaccurate claim, not distinguishing between accredited or non-accredited training. Sometimes we have seen that they not clearly explain that, and there's a funding courses and non-funding courses, because in that RTO scope, some courses are funded, some courses are not funded. So then there's not clearly distinguished properly, and that create misleading information. Guarantees, promising job outcome or guarantee completion without a valid condition. Non-compliance with consumer law. As we discussed, we need to make sure we also follow that. One of the consumer law also, we need to giving a cooling off period, especially when we're doing it door to door or telephone related enrollment also. Lack of oversight on third parties. So those are the common risks that related to marketing, advertisement. How to achieve compliance? Yeah, I don't have a lot of time. Okay, so, but I think I'm pretty good today. I think I don't have many left now. Focus area, policy. Make sure you have a clear policy, develop and follow clear marketing policy, And if the policy says they need to complete this form, that form, retain this, we need to do it. And accuracy, if I follow the policy properly and the form that attached to it, it have a checklist to make sure that all the marketing material meet the requirement. Clearly labeling, transparency, disclose the third party, and promptly update marketing after any changes. So that's what happens sometimes. We update our training and assessment strategies and information, maybe change the elective unit, this, that, all those part, not updated on marketing. So those are the things we need to be mindful. Audit readiness, maintain register or calendar past marketing material. If we do this, we are able to achieve the compliance. Division 2, integrity. Issue AQF documents only to the competent student who completed all the units. Maintain 30-year record of certification and retain assessment for 2 years after the training product completes. Use correct templates. So a certification template logo, make sure you use correct templates. Verify USI. I think we all doing it. And also don't put the USI on certificate. I think I hardly see 1 or 2 RTO like this, but I think pretty much it's okay in this area. Updated training product delivery on time when your unit updated or course superseded or deleted. So we need to make sure we update and only use the NRT logo as for the accredited training, not for the non-accredited. Record management poll question. So how long must assessment record be kept under SRTOs 2025? So is there a poll coming up, Arpit? Okay, we got the poll, guys. If you can just kick in your or just select what do you think, we get the some sort of idea. Okay, guys, pretty good. 78, 77, 78% people is saying 2 years. Yes, we need to keep it for 2 years after the training product complete. This is just kind of a, so you get, this is the important part, so I thought we put in question here. Accountability. This is something new. Notify ASQA of material change, ownership, key personnel within 10 business days now. Before it used to be a 90 days. And I know some of the people even struggling to meet 90 days. So now it's only 10 business days. So make sure you update ASQA on time. Third-party agreement, we need to make sure that we notify ASQA within 30 days. Through ASQA.net, you can submit any third-party arrangement. Maintain public liability insurance. Make sure it's cover all the training activity, not only for your training location, but if they have a practical as well or any work placement part of it, you making sure that it covers across all the area. Follow all the relevant law. Privacy, child safety, USI requirement, that's about the accountability. Keep the staff and third party informed of legal changes that impact the service delivery. Okay, now SRTOs 2025 effective from 1st of July. So I thought probably we might create some sort of readiness checklist that could help all of us. First thing, update policy procedure form template to align with the new standard. That's that we need to do. Revise our pre-enrollment process and ensure updated declaration and disclosure. So pre-enrollment process, making sure your LL&D, make sure your pre-enrollment process cover all the support related questions, evaluation, how to identify and all those things. Okay, sorry guys. Ensure trainer assessed credential meet the new credential policy. I think here is not a major changes, but even if you're new trainer now, you need just to train your staff related to the new process. As I said, guys, if you don't train, it's not gonna happen. And you as a CEO, director, manager, or any of those things can't do everything by yourself. Review and update website content for the compliance and accuracy. As we discussed that there are changes in the well-being support policy handbook. So make sure you update your website. Even your admission requirement also being changed, because now before you might be doing LLM, later now you're doing in a pre-enrollment. So all those website use also need to be updated. All the documentation needs to be updated. Revised student handbook, again, it says making sure that it's meeting the requirement, not only changing from 15 to 25, but seeing what are the changes actually happen and how it integrate to your policy and procedures. Don't make something that doesn't connect together. The one thing you'll be seeing is your policy is something else and handbook says something else. So even that's the main thing, that is a cohesion or connectivity between those documents needs to be done. Update letter of offer if you're an international student, especially if you're doing LLM before, after, adding some the diversity, inclusion, other areas there. Begin pre-validation unit schedule from 1st of July. So any unit you started, make sure you start doing a pre-validation. Update test is another relevant document, and notify student and other stakeholder. So this is something which I was saying you need to notify. Okie dokie. One more poll question. It's on the screen. What is the purpose of the pre-validation under standard 2025? Love to see the answer. Okay, great. I think we got 100% response. Pretty good. Okay. Now, question. So now heading over to Mahi. But before I head over to Mahi, I just want to say thank you to all of you. Like I said, it's all continuous improvement on my side. If you find something that I need to improve, please tell me so we can make a better presentation, better session. And I think we will send you all the relevant documentation that will help you whatever I said in the session. So thank you guys.
A lot of session is still left, everyone. So Mahi, over to you. Please do not leave and
Sure.
stay tuned. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you so much. What an incredibly insightful session it was. Like, I can see there's so much. And again, thank you to all the audience. Everybody I can see the amazing engagement from you. Everybody is asking questions, answering questions, and whatnot. So thank you, first of all, to Ben and all the audience. You have made the entire session absolutely, engaging, I would say. And now we are moving towards our Q&A segment. And first question, there are quite a few questions. So one of the questions that I have received, I think this is from Nara Morris, and it says, can a trainer work at the college doing the task that helps the trainer currency? So that is more based on the trainer currency topic.
Can you repeat the question, Mahi?
So can the trainer work at the college doing the task that helps the so
during the task? Can you
Yeah.
clarify this question? Is not clear to me.
Sure. Let me see if Nara is there. I would like to see her face, and if you can unmute her so that we can have more clarification.
Right. One more thing we can do is if you can please turn your cameras on, and if you can raise your hands, if you can raise your virtual hands, we'll be able to see you in front. and we'll be able to turn on your mic and video if that's possible too. Yes. We don't have Nara in the session though, Mahi.
Okay,
Yes.
not a problem. We can move on to the another question that came from D. What if the CEO has no experience?
Okay, I think I covered that already. So even if the CEO does not have any experience as a CEO, if they know the vet industry, if they work as a trainer or admin or bit of a compliant, or if they haven't done or even if they have done anything, they have done the TAE, and they also know or willing to put themselves in learning and being overseeing all the operation. So that's what ASQA wants to see. How do you know what standards are required and how you managing that and how you overseeing all those parts? There is no mandatory requirement that you must be a CEO or a compliance manager before. The requirement is that you need to understand what you're doing and what are your requirement under the standard.
Thank you. We've got another question. That was Nera in the beginning, and she has clarified her question, which is, if there is a gap in their currency and this type of experience can be done at the college as paid or volunteer and get a letter from the college.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just rephrasing the question. So it's related to the currency. There is a gap in the currency. And ask question is, how can we fill that gap?
Correct.
Okay, so as I said before, it's depend on what the gap. If the gap is related to maybe say 3 particular unit that I'm not able to meet the currency, then I need to see what those 3 units requirements are. So maybe one of the units, a HLT ID 011, provide first aid, and this person doesn't have first aid stuff. So then I need to say, how can they get the currency? Maybe they go to the workplace, see what the first aid requirement, what are those things, visit them, complete the industry visit form related to the unit, and that's how you fill the gap.
Another question that we have here, I think that is from Kevin. And that is for the, when we were talking about the conflict of interest, it says, can the trainer work in 2 different RTOs?
Yes, as I said, that the trainer can work 2 different RTO, but cannot be a full-time with 2 RTO. Because let's say if I work 2 days here and 3 days other places, and if your agreements and things are very clear, then that is not a conflict. But if the trainer showing, the RTO showing that this trainer is working full-time here, another RTO showing this is full-time here as well. I think that's where is the conflict gonna come.
Makes sense, makes sense.
Thank you. Another question by Arvind. First of all, hello, Arvind. How are the records kept in the RTO, electronically or hard copy?
Okay, great question. It's up to the RTO. So if RTO wants to keep it hard copy, they can keep the hard copy as well. If you're keeping the hard copy, then in your retention policy, you need to be clear that how the copy will be retained, how you extract the record and all those things. If you're doing it for electronically, then also need to be mentioned in the policy, how you maintain that on electronic basis, how it backuping the data, and how its data is secure for the time period that required. So there is no one thing here. You can do both. It's up to you. You need to show that how you meeting the retention requirement.
Sorry, and one more recent question that I can see here from Michael. It says, does the CEO need to have certificate 4 or diploma in TAE qualification? If not, why do you think it is?
Okay, great question. And I think it's quite a few debate on this. If the CEO have certificate 4 in TAE and stuff, it's a good thing to have. But what I'm saying that there is no legislatively written that CEO must have this. So what ideal way, if the CEO has TAE, it's a great thing to have. But if I don't, and if I still able to demonstrate the knowledge and skills for the standard, and still I'm able to oversee and manage all those things, you can still demonstrate that way as well.
Makes sense.
There's another question by Tina. She says that our CEO relies on compliance manager for guidance. Do you think it's acceptable?
Okay, great question. And that's why I was saying in the session as well that doesn't mean CEO needs to do everything. The CEO also need help. And if the compliance person giving the guidance and support and all those things, that is okay. But what CEO needs to understand that they should know. They should know what does this mean when there's been asked, because ultimately a CEO sign off on the declaration. They don't need to do everything, but they need to know how things are happening. They might even don't do internal audit by themselves. They may be compliance person do it, but then they also check that, okay, what is the outcome of the audit? How we managing, how we continuously improvement, and how we managing all the risk. So it is kind of a team approach.
One more recent question on the separate topic regarding the fit and proper person. So how many fit and proper person do we need in an RTO? And this question has came from Georgina.
Okay, there is no requirement that you need to have this many number of fit and proper. So based on the fit and proper person requirement, if you fall into that category, if you are influencing the decision, if you are executive officer, if you are a high manager agent, all those things, if you fall into those categories, then you need to complete the fit and proper.
Makes sense.
That could be 1, that could be 2, that could be 5, that could be 10.
Great. Cool. There's another question by D. She says that if I'm a business owner, is that sufficient currency to deliver business units? I'm not sure about that question, actually.
Okay, great question. If you are a business owner and operating all the area of the business, for example, I am running a business, but I am a sole trader. I don't have any staff. I don't have any of those things. So how am I going to demonstrate the leadership? I can't. So if you're running a business with have 3-4 staff and doing all the leadership, doing manage of meeting, you're reviewing the performance, do all those aspects of the qualification. Let's assume that you're delivering diploma of leadership, and leadership unit is saying that you need to provide a leadership across the organization. You also need to review their performance. You also need to manage the meeting, and you also need to support and all those parts. And there you need to see that in your business, are you doing those things? And if it's yes, then yes, you will be able to meet the currency of it.
Cool. One more question. I think we are already having so many questions still. So maybe we'll cover one more question that is from Arvind. It says how the record should be kept electronically or a hard copy.
We discussed this question already.
Radio. And another question that recently came in, like how long does the CRICOS provider need to keep students' assessment record before 1st July?
2 years.
So how long does the CRICOS provider need to like if it is anything before the 1st July?
The CRICOS requirement is 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Always.
Yeah, I still can see more questions are coming and we won't be able to cover all those questions.
There's one last question of Jaskaran. Jaskaran is asking, is there flexibility allowed in error level and confidence level in ASQA calculator? For example, 25% and 85%. So is there a flexibility allowed in error level? Yes.
Okay, good question. So I think what they're talking about is related to the validation calculator that is on ASQA website, where we need to put the sample size. So the flexibility in terms of, let's say, if I going too liberal, then the sample size which I'm collecting may not get the correct thing. So what I strongly advise that there is a 85-15. Don't quote me on that, but that's the number, confidence level and error level. But if I change it, I need to show what is the reason behind it. Because if the reason is to reduce the sample size, then that might not be the right thing. And like I said, we don't need to do every single unit. We just need to do 2 units. And if we do a sufficient sample, it gives us the idea how the validation is happening.
Great. Thank you everyone for sharing your questions. We really appreciate that. If we were not able to answer your specific question, you can email us or call us, and we would be more than happy to help you across. Since we've got a little bit of time left to end the session, we wanted to share a brief message in the end for everyone's knowledge. Most of the people know me very well. This is Neha here from the sales team, and I've got Mahi and Carlo from the sales team as well. So please quickly say hello so everybody
Hello.
can know where we belong. It was absolute pleasure to have you all here, first of all. And the main reason that I'm here, interrupting in between two, is to share a small message about our services. A lot of people know that we sell resources. Well, actually, we don't only sell resources. It's like having a right doctor for your wet sector body, not the animal vet doctor, please. Um, we are happy to help you with the tailored solutions for your RTO, be it like compliant and validated resources, which is a really crucial point coming forward. There could be other services like addition to scope, LMS, e-learning, you name it, and we will make it happen for you. So the whole purpose is to have or build long-term partnerships by adding value, trust, and service. So please get in touch with us through call or email. The details will be sent to you in the PPT session after this webinar. Contact me, Mahi, or Carlo. Try to have a word. We are more than happy to help you and work together and make sure that your RTO, if ever gets into audit, it's come out as a healthy body outside it, inside and it's outside both. So that's a small message that was from our sales team. Thank you once again for joining the session, and we look forward to talking to you more and more in the coming days, months, and years.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Ben, and thank you all the audience. First of all, I apologize we haven't covered all the question, but we will definitely make sure that all your questions will be answered either via email or by our next video. So stay tuned. And also, you will receive the feedback form, and you can just, I would say, give your feedback. We really wanted to hear from you, like how did you find our session? Also, if you have any more question, you can put that in the feedback form. Any of the suggestions, all the suggestions, I would say, are welcome, and we really appreciate words from you. And also, before we go and before we wrap up everything, all I wanted to do a last request: please turn on your cameras and show us a thumbs up if you loved our today's session. Just, and also maybe if you can't turn on the cameras, I would say maybe react
This
to the, yeah, perfect. Oh, everybody's, and also just
this
a
will
quick note.
really,
Sorry.
this will really be motivating all of us. We all are wearing formal suits, but it's okay if you are in your t-shirt or you're not working from your RTOs. We'll still be happy to see all your faces. If you can turn your cameras on, if you can give a thumbs up to us, it'll be really nice. We'll be using these pictures for our marketing. Yes. So only our team is there to give thumbs up. Did everyone not like the session? Is it?
No, I can see here Kate. I can
Hello.
see Cherry.
Yes. Cherry did thumbs up. We can see Jaskaran.
Ruth
Thank you
is
so much.
here.
Jaskaran. That's really
Ruth, Sam, Natalie, Ian, D, Basu. Thank you.
Great. I've got
Great.
another last question. Sorry, before we've got a bit of time, maybe 5 minutes. It's out of the context,
Yes.
not related to your RTO policies or anything like that. Maybe raise your hands and our team will unmute you. So the last question is, what are you grateful for during this week, or what was the best thing that happened to you during this week? We would love to hear, and this will bring smile on everyone's face. So please raise your hand. Arpita, Kalp will unmute you and you'll be sharing your experiences with us. I'll repeat myself that any amazing best thing that happened to you during this week or anything that you've been grateful for, please share your experiences.
okay. So we have unmuted Giselle. Giselle, as you raised your hand, so you can definitely unmute your mic and you can let us know what you're grateful for. Okay, I guess by mistake the hand might be raised. We can see Kate's hand as well. Let's give Kate a chance. Yes. Kate Smith, Kate, you can now unmute yourself. We have given you
Yes,
the option to.
you can hear me. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you to all of you for investing your time and sharing the information with us, because I think it's an ever-evolving industry that we work in, and, you know, we're always learning. For me, what I'm grateful for this week is connecting with new people and learning lots of things. So from this session today, but also within, you know, the industry that I work in as well. So thank you.
Thank you. I
Thank
think
you
we've got
so
more
much,
people
Christopher.
here. Sorry, I think
Yes.
Dee has written there, had the best latte over this week. I love that answer. I think we both are the latte person, so high five. There's Nicole says, I'm grateful for the supportive team I have at my workplace in assisting me to strive for excellence. Wow, that's something we excel on as well, thanks to Ben, that we have an amazing team too.
Yes, we have Christopher. Christopher, we have given you the chance. You can unmute yourself if possible, as you have raised your hand. So if you are there, okay. Next, we can go with Arvind. Arvind, you can also unmute yourself. We have given you the opportunity for the same. And yes, we'll all be able to hear you then. Okay. Great. We have Mr. Rakesh. Rakesh, you can now unmute yourself for sure. We have given you the opportunity once again.
Thanks very much. That was a lovely session. I loved it and very thorough. Ben has got great knowledge, and this has been very, it's a very informative, and I'm thankful for this session, and I hope that such sessions will keep happening in the future, and we'll get lot to learn from Ben and your team. Fabulous work you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll be looking
We've
forward to
got
host.
Jody who says, sorry, I'm grateful for my job, who are like family, and for working in an office where I can bring my doggo with me. Wow.
Wow.
I would love to bring my dog one day to the office, Ben.
Yeah, bring as many as you want.
No, not as many.
Great.
And
I guess we're good.
Feda says that I'm great. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I'm grateful for my family and friends. Wow, amazing.
Thank you so much once again. Thank you all. Thank you, team, and thank you everyone for a nice response. And I'm reading it out through. I'm still reading it because it's still coming up. And thank you so much for everyone for joining the session. Also giving your response and your feedback. We really appreciate it. And now I think we are running out of time. So we would love, like, if you have any final says, I would say go ahead. We'll cover that and then we can just end the session today. Anything else? Perfect. All the thank yous are still coming. Once again, thank you so much. We are super grateful for all your presence and all your inputs and all your feedbacks. And we will definitely see you next time. Maybe keep an eye for to your emails. You will receive another request for our next webinar. Could be another topic, or maybe you can suggest the topic to us so we can cover in the next webinar or next video. Until then, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all. Have a great day. And we will send
Sorry,
you the
guys, I just have a quick
PPT
question.
link and all the other templates.
Sorry, I think there's someone.
Yes.
Guys, I just have a final question. Thank you very much for your time, first of all. Secondly, I wanted to ask you, we are a very newbie RTO. We're just waiting for our registration from ASQA. And so they have requested a few documents and we're organizing that. But meanwhile, they are requesting some PDs for us. So just wondering, besides this session, do you guys provide a separate free PD session for your clients?
So you can use this PD certificate as the PD evidence as well.
Yeah.
And so other PD, we constantly doing the PD. So if there any free PD, we'll let you know and you can join as well.
Okay, no worries. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys. You have a good day. See you next time.